Welcome back, everyone, to Dots Podcast, aka Down on the Sidelines. It's your boy with the Kirkle Chains glasses. It looks like I'm wearing like those fake glasses where I got the big nose.
Dude, you got the big fat specs on right now.
I
Like they
know.
almost look like mine, but like the frames that clearly go all the way through them
Yeah.
like mine.
These are not real glasses. These are part of the Kirkle Chains aesthetic. Anyways, coming from Lakeland University, it's your boy Matty Icy.
And here on the away sideline, here in Stevens Point, the Stevens Point, not trying to be like Ohio State or anything, is Brett Stockgolf, aka 99 Bretts, aka Brendini, Brendan Retzloff, in the house. Welcome to episode number 6 of the Dots Podcast. It is most certainly going to be a good one. Today is September 21st, 2023. So Thursday night football is going on tonight, and that's going to be probably not so great of a game, but we're going to talk about it for a bit once we get into our predictions, and as well as all the other games going on throughout week 3 in the NFL. It's hard to believe that we're already about to go to week 3 in the season.
Crazy.
But without further ado, today's episode, we're going to be going over our biggest takeaways from week 2 in the league, as well as break down all the injuries that happened throughout week 2, because there were a lot.
There were quite a bit of significant ones. So honestly, let's get right into our thoughts on week 2. Honestly, some of these teams are solidifying themselves as alright, these teams are actually an undefeated team. These teams are actually a winless team, and then there's teams that are just 1-1. So I think you can't say what a team is until about like week 3 in my mind. So I think it's like too early to say that. Oh wait, week 2 is the week 2.
And we've had a lot of instances where teams have gone 0-2 to begin the year, and then they end up making the playoffs and playing extremely well. For example, last season, the Cincinnati Bengals, they were 0-2 after their losses to begin the year, and they came out to be a dominant team that both of us had top 5 consistently, throughout the entirety of the season once they hit that hot stretch. So I agree with you. I would almost say even if you were 0-3, it could almost be a little early to decide whether it's time to tank your season or to actually try and make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But I agree to your point.
Yeah, I don't think, honestly, I want to say like those first 5 weeks are really shows the team's true colors. I mean, I can't really say that because look at Detroit last year. They started 1-6, and they went on a run. But most of the time, it's very true when it does come to that, where a team is 2-3. And there's like, okay, then they're probably going to be around a 500 team. If a team's 4-2, they're going to be a wild card or possibly a home playoff team. Then you got the teams that are like 5-0 that are going to be the dominant ones.
Absolutely. And to go with my point, like it will take, I would say once you hit around week 6, that's when it's time to like hit that button to say, okay, are we going to try to be a playoff contender this year? Are we just going to settle? Or are we going to tank? I feel like week 6 is a pretty good time for that, but obviously other people have their opinions. I want to know what your thoughts are on that. You said week 3, but...
Well, week 3 is kind of, I don't know. I'm solidified at week 5. I think week 3 is still way too early to determine if a team's good or not. I mean, look at the Bengals, they're 0-2. Look at Minnesota, they're 0-2. Look at the Chargers, they're 0-2. And I think all 3 of those teams I think we would have in the playoffs based on how they're playing. Well, the Bengals not so much.
Exactly, and I think to begin the year, sorry to interrupt you, but to begin the year, I think we had all those teams in our top 10s.
Yes, to start off the year, we did.
That's valid. Go ahead.
I mean, like, you look at, like, obviously the matchup is the Chargers and Minnesota, like, both 0-2 teams. Like, you got to realize that Minnesota's air attack is like one of the best, even though their rushing game, which we'll get into that because they got a new toy.
New addition.
And then the Chargers have scored over 50 points, or actually, I think it was over 75 points according to ESPN. Over 75 points with 0 turnovers, and they've lost both games.
And that's just because their offense is, they are a high-powered offense. Their problem is they just didn't have one of their best players last week.
Yeah, I think he's going to be out for Minnesota.
What's that?
I think he's not going to be playing against Minnesota, so it gives me every more reason to pick Minnesota.
And speaking of injuries, we're going to be going over injuries and stuff a little later in the show, as well as later in the show, we're going to talk about our biggest surprises throughout these first 2 weeks, as well as who is the best 0-2 team. Now that like we're on that topic, like I think that's a really good one to get into because you just mentioned 3 really big contenders that could be playoff teams. And then we're also going to try to have some fun, do some guess the player, throw a little bit of fun into our show, and then we're just going to go over our own top 10 rankings. One of my favorite parts of the show.
I think are we going to do our rankings or are we going to do last week games?
What do you mean last week games?
Well,
like just go over the. We'll go over those really quickly. It's just not like that too big of a thing to go over now that we're on to week 3, and then we'll also have our game predictions for you as well.
Yeah. So obviously, let's get right into the big thing. Injuries. Obviously, the curse of Monday Night Football is what people are calling it. In the last 3 Monday Night Football games, you had Damar Hamlin have a cardiac arrest. Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles, and now Nick Chubb tore his PCL, his MCL, and his LCL. He is done for the year. Obviously, one of the best running backs in the league goes down. It's never a good sign, especially if you've seen the video of his knee. It was literally at a 90-degree angle. It was not good.
Dude, I didn't really see any of the clips until like maybe an hour or 2 after the injury occurred. But
it's
like
not good.
In the broadcast, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman were like, okay, we're not going to show that to you guys just because of, I mean, how gruesome and how horrible it actually was.
Really,
like
really
Matt is not kidding about his leg was like inverted 90 degrees the other direction. Like that's just, it's not good. And I wish I didn't see that because I'm horrible at stomaching things.
Yeah.
Like that. Like right when I see it, it makes my stomach turn.
I can handle that. Honestly, then we have Austin Eckler, which is probably the next biggest one in my mind. I mean, yeah.
In your mind, in my mind, I think the next biggest one is Saquon Barkley.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Saquon. Yeah, never mind. We'll talk about Saquon real quick. Obviously, he's not going to be playing tonight in tonight's game. He is going to, I think Brian Dable said 3 weeks, I think he's going to be out with a high ankle sprain.
Yeah, he's just got the high ankle sprain. They were saying listed out for 3 weeks, even though on fantasy football right now he's listed as questionable.
I don't know. They were saying that he might play. I don't think he will play tonight. Yeah. There's no point of playing him in a useless game.
I like how you're saying this game's useless for the Giants. That's a pretty hot take right there. Well, Giants fans would be so mad at you.
I don't care. They're the Giants. They haven't played. They almost lost to Arizona. I do give them credit for coming back down 28-7. But still, you're playing the Niners.
Yeah, the Niners are the best team. Hey, who knows? Maybe we'll see a crazy upset happen. But it is in San Francisco, right?
Yes, it's in San Fran. So
yeah, that makes it less easy for New York.
Yeah. And honestly, like, this is just going to be, I think it's a throwaway game. The Giants aren't going to win this game. You don't have your best weapons, and Daniel Jones has been underperforming so bad that it's ridiculous.
We're going to go over our predictions later, But it sounds like clearly we got one person going on one end, which, I mean, it's fair. But with all the other injuries going around, I'm trying to search up the NFL
There's Eckler.
injuries.
I forgot what he had. I think he has a hamstring injury. Christian Watson. Obviously, your Packers.
Yes.
Another hamstring injury. He was dealing with college, got surgery, now it's bothering him again. So,
all right. I'm just going to the NFL.com website for this information.
and we all know about J.K. Dobbins. He tore his Achilles. He's out for the year again.
Yeah. You got to feel bad for these running backs. Like, the fact that they didn't get paid money and now they're getting the brutal injuries. Like, Nick Chubb, his career might be done.
He might very well might be. But did you also see about the NFL going after the NFLPA? The Players
They went after
Association?
the NFLPA. I thought the NFLPA went after the NFL.
No, it was the other way around because they're saying, because they're thinking, because Saquon said that if he wants to get paid more, he'll get hurt on purpose. And that's what they're.
Whoa.
So this is what they're thinking. So this is what they're thinking. He's doing this on purpose so that other running backs can get hurt and they can get their money. And this is their way of sitting out.
I did see something about that. So you're talking about like players pretend like they get injured, so then they just don't play, and then until they get paid their money. So then they're like, oh, we're not injured anymore. We're doing fine. We've been healthy this entire time. Like, screw you guys.
Screw you guys, basically.
Okay. I'm on the wrong website right now. I am on NFL website, but it just gives me the matchups for week 3. I don't care. I want the list of player injuries.
Cooper Kupp's on IR still, so nothing new there.
Yeah, I'm going through all the teams. I think another big one is Jalen Weddle. He's under concussion protocol.
He is under the concussion protocol.
At the moment, after taking a really big hit to the head in Sunday night's game against the Patriots, that was a wild game.
I thought they got that first down. That was a wild game. I really wish he got the first down, but
Mike Gesicki's IQ was
just his awareness
at that point,
knowing that the game's on the line. I'll say it went a lot better than the last time they lateraled it.
Well, if Mac Jones would have threw the ball further out, it would have been a first down. But he threw it towards the inside of Gesicki, so Gesicki didn't have time to get to the outside. But, I mean, yeah. It wasn't like their last lateral. They don't have that guy anymore.
Devontae Adams, I think, is in protocol. Concussion protocol. Concussion. He is as well. Took a nasty hit against the Bills. Those are the ones that I can think.
Joe Burrow's got a calf strain again.
His calf is bothering him. The one that he injured, so.
Yeah.
Now this asks the question: does this really affect how the Bengals are 0-2 right now?
Bro, that is the same question I was about to ask, except kind of change it up a little bit. Has this injury really been affecting the Bengals? Has Joe Burrow been dealing with this injury the whole time?
I think it has. Yes.
There's no way that Joe Burrow is underperforming like he has been, and it stinks to see what had happened, and I think it has been too. So even if they do go with their backup, which I'm not even positive who they have at backup.
Trevor Simeon, I think it is.
At least they have some experience there.
Yeah, but he's not the best.
Dude, if you go on NFL's website, there are a lot of injuries.
Well, a lot of these are just he rolled his ankle during practice, so then they put him as limited. So a lot of those are he didn't show up for the first 2 days, so they're putting him on the injured list.
Bro, this is hilarious. I'm on NFL's so I'm on their website. I'm looking at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right?
Oh God.
First player on there, Tom Brady. And the practice status says full participation in practice.
Tom Brady coming out of retirement? Question mark.
This doesn't make any sense. This has to be from 2022. This injury report is 100% from 2022, but there's injuries listed on here that are those injuries. Yeah, it's 2022. It showed me 2023 and then it showed me 2022. Yeah. And it said 2022 on the bottom. Come on, NFL.
All right.
Now I'm throwing shade at you.
All right, I think we should get into our next topic.
Yeah.
Which would be
can
the biggest surprise, which can either be a trade, some players that went off, some teams that we haven't been expecting to do as good or as poorly as we expected. So let's start off with trades, because there's a trade that just happened to my team, to the Vikings. We traded for Cam Akers. So, what does that mean for Alexander Madison? Obviously, Madison has always been that bruiser type of running back. Well, Akers has been that speed guy. Because right now we don't have speed, because obviously Devin Cook was our speed, basically our 3-down back. But that came to very much a surprise, because there was teams, I think it was the Ravens, the Chargers, and there were 2 other teams I can't remember off the top of my head that were interested in Cam Akers. So seeing the Vikings get the trade for Akers is kind of surprising for me, even as a Vikings fan.
That's your biggest surprise, like the biggest surprise that you have seen thus far this NFL season.
Oh, this NFL? No. I think the big surprise. Hold up, I gotta look at how to say his name. Hold on.
That's what I was trying to get us to talk about.
Okay. Yeah. Hold on.
For those of you who don't know, I was pretty much the person who wrote the script for this week's episode.
You did write the script. God, how do you spell his name?
Puka Nacua.
Yes, Puka Nacua. That's Puka Nacua. That is my biggest surprise. He has set an NFL record for the most receptions in the first 2 games, I think with 19, I think it was.
Dude, he's like the number 2 listed wide receiver right now.
I know, behind Justin Jefferson. Because Jamar Chase hasn't done anything fancy.
Thanks, Joe Burrow.
Yeah, literally. I think that's my biggest surprise, is that this guy has come out of nowhere, and this might be the Matt Stafford effect, that he turns decent, maybe underperforming wide receivers into stars. Because this is going to be a question. Is Cooper Kupp still going to be the wide receiver when he comes back, or is he going to be bumped down to 2 because Puka Nacua is there?
Bro, where did this guy even go to school?
I don't know. Let me find that right out for you. Good old Google.
It was very funny, like...
BYU. He's
Wow.
22 years old, so he's a rookie.
He might have played with Zach Wilson then.
5th round, 177th pick.
But what's really interesting is, like, in fantasy football, I'm sure a bunch of leagues were like this, but no one drafted this guy.
No one probably drafted him.
And then they saw him pop off week 1, and then people were like, oh my goodness, I gotta pick this guy up. Like, this guy is doing insane. But, like, when I think about it, I'm like, oh, it's the LA Rams. Like, all they have is Cooper Kupp. Like, why would you draft anybody else? But don't listen to me, because apparently I'm not an expert into the fantasy football field at all, especially since I haven't won a single freaking championship yet. Not sure what's going on with this guy over here. But Puka Nacua, he's done pretty gosh darn well. I think he scored like 52 fantasy points this year, and he had like 129 receiving yards and a touchdown, or 2 touchdowns in last week's game. So don't sleep on this Rams team. And he did that against the San Francisco 49ers. Even though the Rams lost, it was still a really good performance from this guy, considering
What was
that
it?
the
Fire hazard?
49ers are one of the most well-rounded teams in the league.
It's not that messy.
But for me, I need Matt to listen to my biggest surprise. I really need him to listen to this. What were you doing?
Sorry, my roommate was being my roommate.
Ah, the roommate effect. Yes. You ready for my take?
Yes.
The biggest surprise this NFL season is that Travis Kelce is dating Taylor Swift. Dude, that's madness. All right? So
All the things he could have said. The
that's a big
Buccaneers are
surprise.
2-0. The Falcons are 2-0. The Saints are 2-0. The Bengals are 0-2.
Dude, you know what this does for the NFL, right? If they stay together and if they get married, like, dude, the revenue in the NFL is going to be nuts. And I would not be surprised to see her perform in the Super Bowl halftime show. Maybe not this year just because she's on her tour. Maybe the next year, though. But I'm just saying, Jason Kelce revealed it when he was on a sports talk radio show the other day. And he was like, 100% those rumors are true. That's a big shocker right there. Like, Travis Kelce, this guy with this biggest ego ever, who, I mean, just bashes over people and just goes nuts all the time, with one of the biggest pop stars in the world right now. Actually, probably the pop star in the world. You can't say that's a bad take.
No, I can't say it, but still.
That's a big surprise. I'm just saying. When you got two people as successful as that, you got two-time world champion, and then you got big-time superstar, that adds up for revenue for the NFL. And the NFL is like, oh yeah, we like to hear all of this stuff. And have you been hearing all of the sports broadcasters like throw in a bunch of like Taylor Swift
Man,
references
Kelce
when
found a
Travis
blank
Kelce does
space,
something?
blank space in the zone for the touchdown.
Exactly. Like, these guys know it all too well, man.
Oh my gosh, but
I just threw one in there if you could tell.
yeah, wasn't my expected. But yeah, I guess those are our hottest takes from the NFL. Mine is reasonable, and Brendan's like, Travis Kelce's dating Taylor
how
Swift.
How is mine not reasonable, dude? How else can I explain to you how mine is reasonable that would make you believe me?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. No one would have expected that to happen.
No.
Exactly.
But you want to know how it started? Because he wore his friendship bracelet or whatever. He shipped one to Taylor.
Yeah, that's
with his
hilarious,
number on it.
dude. Yeah, wasn't that in the episode of their New Heights podcast where they were talking about that? Dude, like, and he said he didn't hear back from her, so like that was it. But clearly, this dude was lying. I'm just saying, it's a big surprise.
Or it recently came, she finally got it. It was like, oh, here's Travis Kelce's number, by the way.
And not his number on his jersey. Yes.
No. But I think we should segment into the next topic.
I just made this guy upset. Go ahead.
Who is the best 0 team in the NFL as of right now? So we have.
So you have a bunch of contenders here.
Yeah. So
for this one.
I'm looking. We have the Vikings and Chargers, the Texans, the Broncos. Oh yeah, the Commanders are 2-0 as well. I forgot about that. They're 1-1. Panthers are 0-2. Bears are 0-2. Are the Cardinals 0-2?
The Cardinals are 0-2 because they lost to the Commanders and they lost to the Giants.
Yep, so they're 0-2. Raiders are 1-1. And the Bengals. So recap: the Bengals, the Cardinals, the Bears, the Panthers, the Broncos, the Texans, Vikings, and the Chargers.
And the Patriots.
Oh, and the Patriots are 0-2 as well. Yes, thank you. So
Can't forget about
this brings up the question. I actually just saw this by ESPN like yesterday. Who is the best 0-2 team out there? I think everyone will say based on how they're performing, because obviously they have Cincinnati listed as number one.
I say we go ahead.
Honestly, if we're listening on how they're performing this year, Cincinnati is not the number one team to be 0-2. They're not the best 0-2 team. In my mind, I gotta look at the best 0-2 team is going up against the second best 0-2 teams. The Vikings and the Chargers are the best 0-2 teams in the league right now, in my mind. Obviously, I might be a little bit biased because I'm a Vikings fan, but you gotta realize this. We only lost 3 points against Tampa, which, yeah, that sucked. And we only lost by a touchdown against Philly in prime time. And the Chargers, obviously, we all know what happened. They got they went to a shootout with the Dolphins. They lost. And then the Titans actually kicked the last-second field goal to win.
All right, dude. It's fair to have Minnesota and the Chargers be up there just because of how much star power they have on their team. But you got to remember, we are talking about performances overall as a team throughout these first 2 weeks of the year. So I understand that Minnesota played in close games. They should have beat Tampa Bay. Let's be honest.
Well, yeah,
here.
they should have. That's why. This is why this isn't the best 1-1 team, or should have. This is the best 0-2 team.
For sure. Like I was saying that they should have beat them. Like
100%.
In week one, we were both talking like they are gonna dominate this game. What happened? They just decided not to really have much production go on, and like Kirk Cousins played aight.
He didn't play very well.
The team just didn't play well at all. And with the Chargers, it's really tough too to decide on that because they played a really close game. They played 2 really close games actually.
Mm-hmm.
One against one of the best teams in the league, in the Miami Dolphins, and that was when Austin Eckler was healthy. So if you're looking at this team currently, they don't have Austin Eckler right now, which I would say puts them in not too great of a spot. I think a dark horse team that no one's talking about right now is the New England Patriots. I think the New England Patriots, being 0-2 this year, they played against Philadelphia, and they just played against Miami. Those are 2 pretty darn good teams.
They are.
Both teams of which are 2-0. So they had 2 really difficult games, and they had close games in both of them. I mean, they lost on a 4th down to both teams, basically.
Yeah,
the
did.
One pass from Mac Jones, only got 1 foot in bounds on it, couldn't get the first down. That was against the Eagles. And granted, that was at Foxborough. Both of these games were there.
Mm-hmm.
And in the second game, that 4th down that we were talking about with Mike Gesicki having the 500 IQ, like, this is a Bill Belichick-led team. And I feel like a lot of people are putting this team under the radar just because of how good the division they are in is. And that's what I love about the AFC East right now.
It's so competitive.
All 4 teams are competitors. Maybe not the Jets anymore, but I mean, if they had Aaron Rodgers, every single one of those teams is a competitor. And it's Bill Belichick. He's one of the greatest coaches of all time. I believe he's 19 wins away from passing the all-time wins record in the regular season, which That's a crazy statistic there. And if you just look at this team, Mac Jones, he's going to improve. He's going to get better. Bailey Zappi, I would say he's one of their better backups, or one of the better backups in the league. So, and even if you look at the defense of this Patriots team, they were playing really well in that second half against the Dolphins, especially with the speed that they had. Unfortunately, that injury did happen to Jalen Waddle. And Tua Tagovailoa, he's under the radar as well for an MVP candidate. And the Patriots, they played as good as they could when Tua was just firing on all cylinders. But I think with all those points being said, you just look at the rest of this Patriots team. At running back, Ramondre Stevenson, he can pop off. Ezekiel Elliott being the backup, we haven't heard from much of him yet, but I think his name's going to get known pretty darn soon. And even if you look at their receiving core, they have guys like Juju Smith-Schuster on the team. They have Devontae Parker. I think this team is the best 0-2 team right now.
Interesting take. Honestly, I think it's the Vikings and the Chargers. But that's you. I guess. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much more explanation than that. I guess we'll go into our next thing, which it says Weddle, but I think we'll go over the games from last week. We'll just run through the scores. We won't do any analysis or anything like that. And then we'll do our rankings, and then we'll get into the Weddle, which unfortunately the audience, will not be able to see because the stream, whenever I share my screen, it will not record. So we'll go over.
His computer is stupid.
Yes. So we will go over last week's scores. So on Thursday night, Minnesota at Philly. Philadelphia won 34-28. Then at the noon games, you had Ravens at Cincinnati. Ravens won 27-24. In overtime, you had the Seahawks and the Lions. Seahawks won 37-31.
That was a shocker.
Yeah, that was that. We both had Detroit winning that one. Colts at the Texans. Colts won 31. Anthony Richardson has a concussion. I forgot about that.
Yep.
He has a concussion.
He's a good quarterback, though.
He's the best rookie quarterback out there.
He looks very promising from what I've seen.
Bears at Buccaneers. Buccaneers won 27-17. Justin Fields blames the coaching on why he's playing so poorly.
That was just beyond ridiculous.
Yeah,
Hold yourself
so
accountable. Bad. Take responsibility. Bad leadership right there.
You see Justin Fields, and you see what Kirk Cousins says, and they're completely different. Justin Fields, I blame the coaching, and then
I think it's just because he went to Ohio State.
Yeah, Ohio State quarterbacks never turn out to be good. Chiefs at the Jaguars. Chiefs won 17-9. Packers at Falcons. Falcons win this one 25-24. Very close game.
Packers choked that one.
Yeah, you guys definitely did. You guys were up by 2 scores. Raiders to the Bills. Bills win this one 38-10. I can't remember. I think the Chargers were a 325 game.
The Chargers and the Titans were, I believe they were a 325 game, yeah.
Yeah, so going into the 325 games. Chargers and Titans. Titans win this one overtime 27-24. The Niners at the Rams. Niners win that one 30-23. If you haven't seen pictures of this Rams home game, go look at the pictures because it's completely red.
It was San Francisco. Like, yeah. It seemed like they played
Well, that
there.
stadium has always had, like, the away team has always been the home team.
I think it's just because it's LA. Like, there's so many different fans of different teams.
That's
but
fair.
Anyways, continue.
Giants at Arizona. Giants win this one 31-28. Jets at Cowboys. Cowboys win this one 30-10. They've outscored the New York team 70-10. Then the most interesting one was the Commanders and Broncos. Russell Wilson throws up a 50-yard Hail Mary only for the 2-point conversion, not to be no good. Then
Unfortunate.
Sunday night, Dolphins at Patriots, Dolphins win that one 24-17. Then the two Monday night games, the Saints win 20-17 against the Panthers, and a defensive show for the Steelers as they took on the Browns, 26-22 Pittsburgh.
T.J. Watt had his first career touchdown.
Yeah, that was I had Pittsburgh defense, and I was going up against Pittsburgh's defense. So, I guess with that being said, we'll get right into our rankings. I'll just uncover everything because I connect them all together.
Oh, so we're not gonna try to play our game?
Oh, I guess we can, yeah. So, we'll do that after this.
I'm down.
All right. Obviously, we won't go into much explanation. So you can start. Who do you have at number 10?
Okay. So yeah, I'll just go right over my top 10 right away. I'm not gonna do too much explaining today since our episode we got a lot to cover. But coming in at my number 10 position, I have none other than the Detroit Lions. We're gonna go to my number 9. Jacksonville Jaguars I'm putting at number 9. At number 8 for me, I am deciding to go with the Buffalo Bills.
Wow.
At 7, I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints.
Ooh.
At 6, yeah, I'll go over these once I go right through them. Okay. So breaking down 6 through 10, I got the Ravens, the Saints, the Bills, the Jaguars, and the Lions. I think that setting up the Lions down to number 10, especially after losing to the Seattle Seahawks, was a really surprising thing. I was possibly thinking about dropping them further down the list, but the game went into overtime. Their offense played well. It was just the defense wasn't really to put anything together, so I had to drop them a few spots from last week, and I only dropped the Jaguars a couple of spots considering they played the Kansas City Chiefs, which I still think is one of the more complete teams in the league now that they have Chris Jones back, Travis Kelce's healthy again. I mean, they just had a tough game against Kansas City, and their defense played really well. Their offense just wasn't really able to figure too many things out. For Buffalo, putting them at number 8 because I think their team is there chemistry-wise. I think they just are missing a few bits and pieces of that team to be able to move up that list. But the biggest shocker, Matt is in complete agreement with me with this being a shocker, is putting the New Orleans Saints at number 7. I think now that they have Derek Carr on the team, Derek Carr says this is the happiest he's been playing football, which is wild because he really wanted to play with Devontae Adams, and now he doesn't play with him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad to hear that he's really happy with the coaching staff, his teammates, and he does have a great group of teammates. Just think about it. Jamal Williams, I mean, he's one of your favorite players in the league because he's into all the fun stuff, the anime.
Yes, sir. He's also injured.
That's true. I forgot about that. But if you just look at the Saints defense, this team is playing extremely well, given the fact, yes, they didn't give up a touchdown in week 1. It was all field goals against the Titans. But then in week 2, the only touchdown they really gave up was late into the game when nobody cared.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about it, this defense
haven't let up a touchdown.
Is playing tremendous game right now, and I feel bad for my Packers because I don't think it's going to go well next week or this weekend. But then I got the Ravens in at number 6 because, I mean, their consistency is there. They only lost their running back. But now, top 5. Kansas City Chiefs are going in my number 5 spot. Coming in at number 4, I got the Miami Dolphins. Number 3, I got the Philadelphia Eagles. Who do you think my 2 and 1 are?
You better not have Cowboys are 2 and then the Niners at 1 because I don't see Cincinnati in this list at all. I don't think they made it.
Why would I put Cincinnati in this list? They're 0-2 and they suck. You are absolutely right. I got the Dallas Cowboys in at number 2 and the San Francisco 49ers in at number 1. I think it's super easy to decide who the top two teams are right now. Cowboys defense, man. Come on now. Like,
Micah
they're
Parsons.
also one of the top defenses in the league right now. I think they've scored like 2 or 3 defensive touchdowns already this year and 1 or 2 special teams touchdowns. It's crazy how great they're playing on defense and special teams. Dak Prescott, I will say he needs a little bit of things to work on, and I think with him and CeeDee Lamb, they're going to become a lot better of a combo. And we haven't seen too much from CeeDee Lamb this year, but I'm expecting him to pop off against the Cardinals this week. Dallas has not played the best of teams either. So
No, they play both New York teams, but still.
I can't really bump them up to that number 1 yet because San Francisco is just so complete. They're not dealing with any injuries, no drama. Their coaching staff is great. I mean, Kyle Shanahan's doing a great job with them. It's a really great thing that they have going on in San Francisco. And then to break down my 3, 4, and 5, I think it's fair to have the Eagles there after that close win against the Vikings, but that game didn't feel like it was very close the entire way through, and I feel like you could agree with that.
Yeah, it wasn't. They were up 28-7 going like halfway through the third quarter, and then Minnesota went on a streak, and they caught right back up. And honestly, like I don't know if you saw that game, but Kirk Cousins threw the ball from his own 10-yard line to their 10-yard line.
Kirk Cousins played extremely well.
He had over
in that game
369 yards and 4 touchdowns through the air. Should have been 5, but
Jay Jettas ended up fumbling the bag.
Yeah, and that's how you could tell he took responsibility for that 100%. He's like, oh yeah, that's on me. That's on me. Then Kirk Cousins like, oh yeah, it's actually my fault. Yeah, Kirk Cousins took all the blame because he said, oh yeah, I didn't put the ball in the right spot. I'm like, dude.
Kirk Cousins is one of the most likable guys in the league. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, even like a lot of my friends here, they're like, I hate the Vikings, but I love Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, like that's exactly how I am. But I can't say that word anymore. Right now I'm doing something where I made an oath to myself where I can't swear or say Lord's name in vain or say that word. So I say extremely dislike now. So
Gotcha.
Just working on bettering myself. But
that's good.
At number 4 and 5, thank you, sir. At 4 and 5, I think it's fair to have the Dolphins and the Chiefs. I could possibly bump the Dolphins above the Eagles here.
I would do that, yeah.
But I think it's very close. I'm looking forward to seeing your rankings. But, yeah, what do you think of my list here?
Honestly, I agree. Your top 5, I think you nailed on the dot. 6 through 10, obviously, so it's still early in the year, so you can see what teams have like better than what other teams. Obviously, the Saints came to a shock to me, but I still think this is a very good list. With that, I'll go over my top 10. So kicking off the top 10, we have Tampa Bay.
Whoa.
At 9, we have Baltimore. At 8, we have the Lions. At 7, we got the Bills. At 6, I didn't do that. And at 6, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. So 6 Jags, 7 Bills, 9 Ravens, and your shocker is at 10, which I have Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's 2-0, so I think they deserve to be on this list. Yes, they played the Bears, but still, they still won. Their defense, their offense, I think people realize that, hey, they're actually legit. Because, think about this. There's a 3-way tie for the NFC South, I mean.
It's ridiculous. There's 3 2-0 teams, and then there's the Panthers.
Who are 0-2.
But, dude, I'm so freaking happy I drafted Mike Evans in one of my leagues. Everyone was talking crap. Like, who's going to be the quarterback for this team? Tom Brady's not there anymore, so Mike Evans is going to suck. Well, suck it, people. Suck it.
Yeah, so Then we have the Ravens. Obviously, um, they're in the top 10. They're a top 10 team in the league. Obviously, with how they're playing, I mean, I still worry about Lamar. Obviously, I think Zay Flowers is a great wide receiver. One, Odell has been dealing with an injury. The more teams I see, I realize, oh my gosh, we forgot about this player injury.
I know there's a crap ton of injuries
I know,
throughout the
and they
league.
barely
It's
just
nuts.
escaped the Bengals. But at number 8, we have the Lions. Kind of like what you said, you had them at 10. They went into overtime. I still thought they played very well. But
Yeah,
they
their
played very
offense was
well, but the
good.
Seahawks played better. That's the thing. They played well, but the Seahawks played better. Now, obviously, it was an overtime game, so I can't move them down that much. At 7, I got the Bills. Obviously, they found who they were again, beating the Raiders 38-10, as we said earlier. So that was just ridiculous. Not worried about them. They'll climb their way back up to the top after that Week 1 fluke. Then 6, I got the Jacksonville Jaguars. Obviously, they lost 17-9 to the Chiefs, which with Travis Kelce, I know we said that Travis Kelce might have been was a deciding factor in the game, whether he plays or not. He did play, and they only won by 8 points. So that was a very close game. Obviously, these two teams are going to battle it out, so I can't really put them way down at 9 like you did, because I know this team is going to be a playoff team, and Trevor Lawrence is playing amazing. And Calvin Ridley, don't get me, Calvin Ridley is playing so well this year. So that's my 6 through 10. So I'll review my top 5. 5, I got the Eagles. 4, I got the Chiefs. 3, I got the Dolphins. And same thing
The same
with you.
top two.
2 Cowboys.
It's got to be the same.
1
Yeah.
49ers. So Eagles are down at 5 because they're not the same Eagles from last year. I think we can all agree that this is a very different Eagles team. It's not the same. I don't think they're going to make it to the Super Bowl. I don't even think they'll get past the divisional round of the playoffs, to be completely honest. But that's the team I see at number 5. Obviously, you had Minnesota beat. You could shut them out like completely and say you lose by 7 points, 28. No, they lost by 6 points, 28 to 34. So if Minnesota would have scored a touchdown, they had to kick an extra point. They're 1-1. Now that I think about it, but still, it's not the same
that
Eagles
didn't
team.
happen.
It's the same Eagles team, and they almost lost to the Patriots, but almost is going for horseshoes and hand grenades. But yeah, This is not the same Eagles. Until I see a very promising win against a very good team, they'll move back up. But right now, they're smack dab in the middle. Chiefs, like I said, they get Travis Kelce back. They beat the Jaguars, who I thought they were going to lose to. But it's the Chiefs. You can never count them out. I think Travis Kelce did have a factor in that game. So they're at 4. And then you have the Dolphins at 3, which is probably the team to beat in the AFC as of right now. 2 very good games. Tua's leading the league in passing, and then Tyreek is second in receiving. So you can't go wrong with this Dolphins team. They're very good. They will get Jalen Ramsey back at some point this season. So their defense is going to be stronger than ever. And then kind of like what you said self-explanatory, Cowboys and the Niners. Niners have nothing wrong with them. They're playing the best football, I think. They picked up right where they left off last year. And the Cowboys, we all know, their defense is stellar. Parsons is going to win Defensive Player of the Year, if not TJ Watt. So, yeah, those are our top 10s. And I realized that we didn't do don't have our game predictions, but
That is all right, because we can just run through them right away after we play our Weddle game. But my thoughts on your top 10, I like your top 10, dude. Like, I think Tampa Bay, putting them in there at number 10, like, it's wild, but it's like a good wild, you know? it's respectable, even though they just played against a pretty bad team.
Well, yeah, but
But
still.
like, but yeah, like they're still able to perform a game's a game. Like you're playing 60 minutes every single time, so you have those same expectations to play the best football that you can, beat a bad team, and it seemed like they beat down on them pretty good, but Justin Fields just bad. I do like that pick though. I do think you're riding a little hard on the Jaguars right now.
You
Like
think
I
so?
understand, I understand that you're saying that they will improve throughout the year, but this is like right now. Like where are they at right now? And
They can beat the Bills and all those teams.
I don't know if they can, to be honest with
I
you,
think they
because
can.
the problem is I don't think they played that great against the Colts. The Colts almost came back against them. And I mean, they just lost to the Chiefs, which, yes, it's the Chiefs, but the Chiefs, they only scored
17.
17 points. That's not Kansas City Chiefs football. So, yes, I'll give it to you that like their defense is pretty darn good, but I think the Buffalo Bills would beat them.
I think that would be. I can see that now. Maybe you can flip flop them however you want.
But
But
then, I mean, with all their teams, like, yes, you could make that argument with me now based on my top 10 that the Saints would beat them.
mhm.
But I I do like the teams that you have in your top five. I think it's a very fair one. I thought about dropping the Eagles down. It was a tough decision for me, but like I do agree that this Eagles team is not the same as they were last year. And I mean, your take on them losing in the divisional, that's a fair one. It's either they win or lose that, but I think the rest of your list though, I like it.
Appreciate it.
But
So honestly, we don't have our script that we usually do. We pick the teams, so we can either quick go through them and we'll just put them on the script, just so for the safekeeping. We'll just say that. We'll just say what team we think is gonna win. Oh, hold on. There we go. We'll just say what team will win, and then later go in through your own scores and put them in. All right, sounds fair. And then we'll get into
well,
Weddle.
you want to do Weddle as the last thing that we do?
I mean, I think it's a fun way to end off the
End off the episode with some fun.
something fun. Yeah.
All right, yeah, let's get into that.
So
I say the way we do our predictions this week, we do the Thursday night football game last because that's gonna be the next game coming tonight.
all right. So obviously we'll get into it right away. So starting on Sunday, we have the Falcons at the Lions. Falcons are 2-0, but I still have faith in the Lions, so I'm gonna take the Lions in this one.
Yeah, I have quite a bit of confidence in the Lions, but the Falcons, they're playing pretty well.
They
They had a
are.
really nice comeback against my Green Bay Packers. But the Packers, they also choked that game. Bijan Robinson, though,
Okay, this is my hot
watch
take.
out for him. I think
Bijan
he's
is the
gonna play
best
really
running
well.
back in the league.
Did you say he's the best?
I think he's the best running back in the league right now.
Bro. Christian McCaffrey.
Oh yeah, I did forget about him. Never mind. Second best.
All right, thank you. I'm glad you clarified that. I would also take the Detroit Lions in this one. So we're not saying score, or are we?
No, we'll just do that later.
Okay, I'll
So-
take the Detroit Lions in this one.
Chargers at Vikings. I mean, it's a home game. These are both 0-2 teams. I think it really does come down to who plays at home, so I'm going to take Minnesota. I mean, I think if you double coverage Jefferson, that's going to leave Addison wide open, as we have seen plenty of times throughout this season, how that just works out so well.
I think this game's gonna be a defensive battle, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like the AFC and NFC matchups are always like really close because they're not used to playing each other that often. Different playing styles. I'm gonna take the Minnesota Vikings in this one as well.
All right, this brings up the Saints at the Packers. Honestly, who's Jair gonna guard? Is he gonna guard Olave? Or is he gonna guard Slant Boy? But I think you gotta go. I think the Saints are gonna win this one just based off of more overall talent around the team. I mean, they have the better quarterback in my eyes with more experience. But obviously, Jordan Love tied for first with touchdowns with Kirk Cousins. He's thrown 6.
Won't sleep on Love, man. But the Saints team is a lot more complete of a team than the Packers. I'm hoping, being a Packer fan, that the Packers defense can somehow get to Derek Carr, whether it's Rashawn Gary, which I just saw a stat that he has the second most pressures in the league right now.
Yeah, I didn't even realize this. But Daniil Hunter is tied for first with sacks. I didn't really realize that.
Wow. That's actually insane. But I think the Saints defense, Aaron Jones needs to come back from his ankle injury because A.J. Dillon right now, it seems like he's just struggling to run the ball. So I'm taking the Saints in this one.
Respectable. Next, we got the Texans at Jaguars. I mean, I'm going to take the Jaguars. It's in Duval. No explanation needed. Texans aren't that good.
CJ Stroud, yeah. He is top 5 in passing yards in the league, but that's the only plus right now for this Texans team. I'm taking the Jaguars in this one. Pretty good.
All right, next we got the Broncos at the Dolphins in Miami. Give me Miami. Nothing much else needed to be there. I mean,
yeah, I'm also taking
so many guys.
I'm also taking the Dolphins in this one. I mean, the Broncos, they're not riding. They're falling. So Miami, take them pretty easily. Speed over that defense all day.
Next, we got Titans at Cleveland. This is kind of a toss-up game for me because obviously the Browns don't have Nick Chubb anymore, but they did just get Kareem Hunt.
I wonder if they're going to start him, though. It could be Jerome Ford.
No, Jerome Ford's going to be the starter. Jerome Ford, Kevin Stefanski says he's going to be the starter.
Yeah, Jerome Ford played really well last week. It's
at home, so that gives you more hope for the Browns because obviously the Titans, they're not riding high. We haven't been riding high on them at all.
No.
I'm going to take the Browns.
Ryan Tannehill just isn't the guy.
I'm taking the Browns.
Yeah, I respect that pick. I'm taking the Browns too. Ryan Tannehill, he's not that guy anymore. I think Tennessee needs to realize it's time to move on. Otherwise, the rest of Tennessee's game is good, but a lot of football revolves around that quarterback position. And I think even though Deshaun Watson struggled last week, that was against a really good Steelers defense. This is going to be different. Taking the Browns.
Yeah. Bills at the Commanders. I'm going to take the Bills in this one. I think the Commanders, props to you. I almost put them at number 10, but still, they're going to lose this one. It's the Bills. They haven't played anyone really tough, so give me the Bills.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm in complete agreement here. Like, with the Commanders possibly being a top 10 team right now, which would be crazy because I think that would have us put 3 of the 4 NFC East teams up in our top 10. But yeah, I'm taking the Buffalo Bills in this one. So far, we all have the same picks right now, but I'm sure that will change very soon.
Colts at Ravens. This is an interesting one because Anthony Richardson is so questionable. So at this point, I think I might have to take Baltimore, but there's a very, very high possibility that the Colts can win this one.
So you're saying if he plays, the Colts could win?
Yeah, because I don't think Gardner Minshew will have it. So that's why I'm taking the Ravens.
I do like to ride the Minshew Mania because Minshew Mania goes pretty crazy, but I'm also sticking with the Baltimore Ravens in this one. I have them as my number 6 team in the league right now. I think this team's playing well. Lamar Jackson, he's going to continue to work on his passing game, even though it's not great sometimes. He's still got that double threat in running it as well.
So now we have the Patriots at the Jets. That's an AFC showdown. I think the Patriots are just a better team than the Jets. Yeah, they beat the Bills, but I like the Patriots in this one.
I'm taking the Patriots as well. I mean, you guys heard what I said earlier on the show. This Patriots team's the best 0-2 team in the league. Give me Pats.
All right, next we got the Panthers at Seattle. I mean, give me the Seahawks. It's in Seattle. I mean, Bryce Young has not looked good at all this whole year. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I watched quite a bit of that Monday night game, and he was throwing the shortest passes every time. He would never take a deep shot down the field, and a lot of the fans started to boo that, and they were walking out with about 6-7 minutes left in the game when they weren't even down by that much. It was just frustrating to see that. You got to feel bad for him. I'm also taking the Seahawks. Better team. They just came off of a big win against the Lions in Detroit, and I think Geno Smith, he's starting to prove that he might be settling as that starting quarterback for this team.
I mean, do we really have to go over this next game? The Bears at Kansas City. Give me Kansas City. There's no explanation.
Justin Fields would say there's an explanation.
It's the coaching.
That was exactly what I was referring to, and by you saying that, it kind of ruined the joke. I'm taking the Chiefs too.
All right, Cowboys at Arizona. Give me the Cowboys. I mean, they're both our number 2 teams.
This one's no explanation either. Yeah, I'm taking Cowboys.
Then we got the Steelers at the Raiders. I'm going to go Steelers. Their defense has been very well. Obviously, they played the Niners, but then they absolutely just annihilated that Browns offense. So, give me the Steelers.
I think this game depends upon whether Devontae Adams is playing.
Fair.
Because he's probably one of the best runners, if not the best route runner in the league. There was a great route that he ran last week, and
he made it up. He made it up.
I don't know how to explain it. Like, he was going down the field, and then he
ran a comeback. He just sat there for like 2 seconds, and then he just took off the sideline.
I'm going down the sideline, down the field. Dude, we might have the same picks every time.
I think these last 2 we might change.
I am going to take... That's interesting. I'm going to take the Steelers as well in this game. I think it depends if Devontae plays, but give me Steel City. Steel Curtain.
Yeah. So going into our Monday night games, we have the Eagles at the Bucks. Obviously, this is going to be a test for the Buccaneers, but I think the Eagles, their secondary is very well. I mean, their defense is so good, so I'm going to take the Eagles in this one.
Once again, we're going with the same picks again. I like how they're doing 2 Monday Night Football games now. I think it's a lot more entertaining, and it's just a lot nicer, to be honest. But I'm taking the Eagles just because how consistent they were last week against Minnesota running the ball. Yes, this is Tampa Bay's defense. They have always had a good rushing defense, but I think if the Eagles just continue to stick with their identity with running the ball and then throwing a few passing plays, Devonta Smith, like I predicted last week, would pop off. He absolutely did. He's going to do it again this week, and I think we're going to see a little more action out of A.J. Brown as well. But DeAndre Swift, keep handing him that football because he had a career night last week. Give me Philadelphia.
So then the last Monday night game, we got the Rams and the Bengals, which, I don't know. I think this one we may disagree on.
It depends if Joe Burrow plays.
Well, yeah, but like, I'm going to go with the Rams. I mean, they just been playing better than the Bengals. Yes, it's in the jungle, but I don't know. Like, the Rams have been playing really well.
This is going to be... So you're going with the Rams?
Yeah.
Okay. This
It's
is
either
going
Joe
to
Burrow
be-
or Trevor Siemian.
This one is going to be the first Monday night game back in Cincinnati since the incident.
Yeah, that is.
So I wonder if there's I don't think they'd pay any homage to that. This is a tough one. And we can't have the same pick every time because I know exactly what we're going with tonight's game. I know what you're going with because I already heard.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. Just because, that means we know our picks. We know what teams. Just because we all have the same...
Dude, we think this every week. And what do our records turn into? Crap.
I do believe I have, a 5-game lead on you.
You're up on me pretty good. Last week, by the way, Matt went 9-7. I went 7-9. It was atrocious on both ends, but it was even worse.
That puts me at 19 and 13, and you are 15.
15 and 17. Thank you.
Yeah, 15
Anyways,
and 17.
That's so bad. This football game, man. Puka Nakua is popping off. Tutu is also playing well. Matthew Stafford's been playing well too. I don't know, man. The Rams played really well against the 49ers as well. And that was a big shocker to me. And Cincinnati has also been a big shocker, but not as big of a shocker as Travis Kelce being with Taylor Swift. I gotta go different from you here. I'm gonna take the Bengals. I'm gonna cross my fingers, hope and pray Joe Burrow plays better. The Bengals have these weapons. They just need to use them. So I'm crossing my fingers that they do.
All right. Then for tonight's game, we're picking the Niners. There's no explanation needed.
San Fran, baby.
San Fran.
Finally paying respect.
All right. With that, we will go into, obviously, the viewers at home cannot see this, but we are going to be playing Weddle, which is, if you haven't played Wordle before, is when you guess a word or a player in this instance, and it gives you the division, the team, his position, his number, his height, his weight, and his
number.
No, there's
Did
one
you
more.
say his jersey number?
Yeah, I said his jersey number.
Honestly,
we were messing around with this earlier, and we guessed Aaron Rodgers on the first one, and it turned out to be Aaron Rodgers.
Bro, that was wild.
Yeah.
I was like, Matt, every time, let's just go with Aaron Rodgers as our first guess.
So today's Weddle.
Today,
yeah.
I don't think we do that.
So.
Am I able to see your screen?
I can try and share it with you. Hold on. I'm going to see how this is for the people at home.
Maybe it'll work. Who knows?
Maybe it will. Okay, I'm sharing.
Right now, for me, it's loading.
Okay. Alright.
It says the stream paused.
Yeah, that's what my biggest fear was. So anyways. Hold on, I just gotta make sure OBS is still working.
We can... I can also go on the Weddle game as well.
Oh yeah, you can do that.
So then
do that instead. See if that will work.
So then we're just playing it at the same time. Okay.
Hold on.
I'm hopping on. You can on-screen share.
Yep. Sorry, audience at home. This is our first time doing this. There we go. Back to our lovely two faces.
Okay, I think. Matt?
I don't see anything, but... So, if you have it up with you, we'll go into it.
Were you able to hear me earlier?
Not much, no.
Oof.
So honestly, I have it off to one side, so we'll just do it by that. So, are we gonna do stick with our gut? We're just gonna go Aaron Rodgers.
Well, since this is the daily one, it's gonna be different. I think it's been Aaron Rodgers before. How about we go with a player for tonight's game?
All right, let's go with Brock Purdy.
Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, all right. Chris Mick.
No way! No way!
Was it for you?
Dude.
Hold on, send me a
Christian
picture so I
McCaffrey.
can confirm to the audience that you got it in one try.
It was oh my gosh, dude. I'm not making this up. I did not play this before.
Well, send me a picture so I know you're being legit.
Wait, isn't it the same for you?
No, it's not.
What?
It is
Bro,
not. It is not Christian
I'm
McCaffrey.
not kidding. I'm not kidding. I got Christian McCaffrey in one. That's wild, dude.
Alright,
Oh
I
my
currently have the
gosh, dude.
Snapchat open.
Oh
And it is
my
indeed.
goodness.
Wait, are you on the normal or the unlimited? This is what I get received from Brendan. As you can see, it is the solution, Christian McCaffrey.
Bro, there's no... We were just talking about getting Aaron Rodgers in one.
That's weird. So I'm still going. So
Why is it not the same?
I'm on normal mode. What mode were you on?
I'm on normal mode.
That's weird. So it must be different for everyone.
It should be the same one. It's a daily game.
I don't know.
Is it not?
It should be, but I guess
Okay,
not.
I cannot believe that I did that, guys. I think I'm just gonna walk out now because that deserves a mic drop.
Okay. So the player's number, Christian McCaffrey's 27 years old. Good lord. He's taller than 5'11". He's younger than 27. His number is lower than 23. I am going to go.
Wait, hang on a second. Say that again.
So he's in the AFC. I think he might be a defensive player. He's above.
No, if you're on normal mode, it's only an offensive player.
Okay. So 5'11". He's taller than 5'11". He's younger than 27. His number is lower than 23.
5'11".
We're gonna go with Matthew Judon.
Are 5'11"? No, Matthew Judon's a defensive player. Why do you keep guessing defensive
Oh my gosh,
guys?
I'm sorry. Don't yell at me.
5'11" in the AFC.
Is Juju?
You know for a fact they're 5'11".
Oh well, he is a receiver, so
So you guess Juju.
I guess Juju. He's in the AFC. He's a receiver. His number is higher than 7. Hold on, is it Jalen Waddle? There's no way.
I feel like it's a Dolphins player.
So, oh gosh, he is. So his number is lower than 17. He's 25 years old.
It is a Dolphins player?
No, he's in the. It might be T. Higgins. No, it can't be.
Bro, I'm still processing how I got mine in.
Oh my gosh, who could this be?
That's
I'm trying to think of players. Oh, it might be Rashad Bateman.
what division are they in?
Oh my gosh, they're in the AFC. They're not in the East or the North, so they're either in the
South or the West?
yes.
Calvin Ridley.
don't think Calvin Ridley is taller than. Okay, he's in the AFC South.
AFC South. Okay.
And he's not doesn't play for the Jaguars. So that either he's the Texans, the Titans,
or the Colts.
Oh, is it Pittman?
I was thinking Michael Pittman.
It's Michael Pittman. All right. Let me try the other one.
I swear, there's a daily mode that you can play.
All right, so you said McCaffrey. Yep, that was a one. Christian McCaffrey.
Dude, I don't even know how I did it. I am not even kidding. Guys, I did not look anything up. I didn't know anything. I was just like, yo, we should go with a player playing in tonight's game. Christian McCaffrey.
I said Brock Purdy. You're like, you know what, we can do CMC, because that was going to be my first guess. It's like, I say Christian McCaffrey's like, there's no way. Lo and behold, it's Christian McCaffrey. And we have photo evidence from Brendan that it actually was Christian McCaffrey.
That's getting clipped. If there's some kind of way, I wish I could have like recorded my screen.
Oh, this will be on YouTube, so you can just clip it from YouTube. Excuse me.
I don't know how I'm gonna clip the Weddle picture thing though.
Just clip my screen then.
I guess I could.
Because show it. It might not be very well, but you can still see it.
See, when we played this Weddle thing, I was expecting us to play a few more games, but since I got this in one, I don't feel like I need to.
Now, we're at hour 15 right now, so.
We're at a good amount of time then. So, guys, I think I'm just going to, like, hang up my cleats, retire, because I just guessed that in one.
That's ridiculous.
I still don't know. I still have no idea how I did that, dude. Luck. That was all luck. Anyways, guys, we hope you guys enjoyed episode 6 of the Dots podcast here on the away sideline, repping the school merch, repping 100% bragging rights that I got Christian McCaffrey in the Weddle game. Is your boy Bretts.golf, aka 99 Bretts, aka Brendini, Brendan Retzloff.
And here at the home sideline, rocking the Kirko chains, is at Lakeland University, your boy Matt Crowley, aka Maddie Icy. And we will see you. This episode will get uploaded right away around like 12:15. We will see you on next Tuesday as we will go over that after week 3 of football. In the meantime, this has been the Dots Podcast.
Enjoy the football, everyone.